Hey yogis, welcome to Limitless Yoga Studio Online. My name is Kelsey Wright and I'm going to be leading you through a shoulder flow today. So if you've ever had kind of stiff and cranky shoulders, maybe from sitting at your desk all day or from a particular hobby that you have, we're going to go ahead and loosen that up with today's flow. So you're going to need 2 yoga blocks and a tennis ball or a Myofascial Release ball. We're going to do a little bit of shoulder work at the very end of class. All right, to get started up, you're going to grab both of your blocks and set them in what I call the T position. It makes the letter T at the back of your mat, but you are going to have a gap between the 2 blocks about 5 or 6 inches. This is going to be the space that fits your neck. So as you roll back, one shoulder blade on either side of the first block, head supported on the second block. It'll look like this. And then some of us might want to have the knees bent, feet planted. Others might want to have the legs nice and long. You want to be particular about the block that is between the shoulder blades. If it goes too far down the spine, it's going to feel weird in the low back. If it's too far up, it's going to feel weird in the neck. So make sure and find that happy medium. Watson's here. And then once you have your positioning, go ahead and take the arms down by the sides and close the eyes. We're just going to take a few moments here to prepare for class. This means gathering up the breath, so that we're not only stretching out the lungs to keep them healthy, but we're also honing in that awareness so we can get that mind-body connection so we know how we're going to move through space today and what energy we're going to spend. I'm going to make sure that I've dropped the jaw and the tongue, that the back of the neck is a little longer than the front. And as I continue to scan down the body, I'm going to make sure the shoulders are as heavy as possible. I'm going to feel a little bit of pressure from that block pressing right between the shoulder blades, which will push my spine up towards the ceiling in the opposite direction that it's normally going. And then as I breathe, I'm working towards 360 degrees of breath around the waistline. You have this nice little gap between the block and your tailbone area. So see if that little lifted space can be filled up with the breath. So you're not only lifting the belly towards the ceiling, but you're also working that back body down towards the floor and expanding through the rib cage. We've got just a few more cycles of breath, trying to even out the inhales and exhales. So we've got that nice smooth cadence of breath that's going to get us through class. Each inhale is going to get a little bit longer and more complete. Each exhale will be a little bit more under control as the shoulders get heavier and as the body gives way. You might check that the inhales and exhales are about the same length, maybe eventually the same pace and the same texture. And then use these final few cycles of breath maybe to increase the massage-like quality that you have from that block between the shoulder blades. As you inhale, you're going to feel a bit of a stretch across the collarbone area. And on your exhale, as you get heavy, you'll increase the pressure of the block against the spine for that massage. As you inhale, feeling the stretch across the pecs. And as you exhale, deepening that massage on the space between the shoulder blades. We got one more breath like this. Squeezing out all the old air. Go ahead and flutter open the eyes. We're going to take a full body stretch over the block. So reach through the fingers, reach through the toes, and then take your arms across the chest. So you kind of look like a mummy. I'm going to take little rocks right and left, which allows the shoulder blades to spill over the edges of the blocks. I can go slow as I want. I can increase my range of motion, but this is just going to feel kind of nice, like a massage in that pretty grumpy area between the shoulder blades. You can stay here, or I like to take the hands towards the ceiling and then slow lower them so the top corners of the blocks massage the top corners of the shoulder blades. So just a few moments here, just working through sensations in a deep tissue massage kind of way, not going for anything that's painful, just things that are productive. And then whatever motion that you're doing, whatever feels good, go ahead and finish that off. Take one more full body stretch, big inhale over the blocks, and then exhale the hands down by the side. You're going to roll up off the blocks, get them off your mat and out of your way, but hang on to one of them. All right. As you roll back down, you're going to sandwich that block between your palms, pressing with as much energy as you'd like, with the shoulder blades down the back of the neck nice and long. Take an inhale, and then exhale, slow lower that block all the way up overhead, continuing to keep the shoulder blades down the back. You're going to bring it all the way up, over, and maybe tap the thigh bones. Bring it all the way down with really straight arms. shoulder blades down the back, and then find that range of motion. So the harder you squeeze the block, obviously the harder the movement and the straighter the arms. So we got one more here, remembering what this feels like in the shoulders because we're going to recreate it. And then next time the block is up towards the ceiling, pause. We're going to bring the knees in towards the chest, kind of squeeze them towards the nose to feel good and release the low back, and then plant the feet on the floor. Placing the block on the skinniest setting between the thigh bones, I want you to give it a squeeze and place the hands down by the sides. Continuing to squeeze that block, I want you to take the same shoulders that you had, so almost like pretending the block is still between your palms. You're going to reach up overhead, check that everything's okay with the shoulder blades down the back, and then we're going to add in the hips. So squeeze the block as you lift the hips and the hands, reaching up overhead, maybe tapping the floor behind you, and then bring it back down. All right, so we've got the shoulders under control. I want you to pay attention to the legs here. As you squeeze the block, notice how the inner thighs are what's working here. We're trying to put the emphasis there rather than squeezing the buns really hard. Sometimes when we over squeeze the glutes, we compress that low back area and it doesn't feel great. So one more lift and lower. Now remembering the work that you did with the legs, get rid of that block and let's put it all together. So pretending like you have a block between the hands, pretending like you have a block between the thigh bones, go ahead and recreate that movement, noticing the low back, making sure that we're not overworking the glutes to the point of feeling a little pinch in that low back area. All right. Now remember that work that you did with the legs because we're going to repeat that in Cobra. Bring it all the way down and pause. All right. We're going to take the arms out to the side in a T position. Bring the knees into the chest. As you roll over to the right side, that left hand is going to go all the way over and sandwich on top of the right. Keeping the head relaxed, let's drag the fingernails in a rainbow-like arc up overhead, opening up that huge wingspan, and then bringing it all the way across and doing it 2 more times. Try to keep the head relaxed against the floor. Maybe the fingers stay in contact with the floor the whole time, but it's absolutely okay if they end up lifting up as you find your range of motion. On this last one, I want you to squeeze the muscles of the belly, bring the knees back to center, and begin to push the heels up and down, working through the back line of the legs, just waking up the hamstrings and the calves, feeling out what's going on, if there's any difference between the right and the left. And then with a bend in the knee pause, we're going to head over to the left side and make sure your blocks aren't in the way. And again, we're going to sandwich those hands together. Keeping the head relaxed, let's find that huge arc of motion as you open up that wingspan, finding that big openness across the chest. We're going for kind of this expansiveness over the pecs and collarbone area. Maybe noticing if one shoulder has any more pops or clicks or any tightness or sensations and the other one doesn't. And then after this third one, squeeze the muscles of the belly, bring the knees back to center, push the heels up and pause. Wrap the hands around the legs, fire through the heels, and then check that your feet are pretty symmetrical, no duck feet or pigeon toes. Relax the glutes enough that the thigh bones kind of sink down into their sockets and you can just work that hamstring stretch. We're going to take one more big breath here as you press through the heels and flex the feet. And then on your exhale, go ahead and bend the knees. We're going to rock and roll ourselves up and down the spine a few times. Let's connect each and every vertebrae with the brain, and then we'll pop up all the way to a seated position. As soon as you're up nice and tall in the spine, go ahead and relax the chin down to the chest and roll up the neck. We want at least one big circle in each direction, 360 degrees, but of course you're welcome to take more if needed. I'm going to go ahead and switch, get out all the crackles, utilize every bit of space that I have, and then bring myself back up to center. All right, I'm going to reach the hands up overhead, and we're going to move the shoulder blades up into the ears and then down into your back jean pockets. I'm going to call this north and south on the back, all right? North and south. One more, getting your full range of motion, north and south. Now bend the elbows. We're going to take the shoulder blades away from the spine, and then we're going to squeeze them into the spine. So I'm going to call this east and west. So rounding the back and then opening up the chest. East and west with the shoulder blades. One more round, full range of motion. Now we're going to isolate the side. So just visualizing the right shoulder blade on your back, put all 4 of those directions together. Can you go north? Can you go east? Can you go south? Can you go west? So visualize this circular motion, scrubbing your back. The arm is along for the ride. It's just kind of moving because it's attached to the shoulder blade, but the shoulder blade is our emphasis and where our energy is. Okay, go ahead and switch it out. I've got my left shoulder blade visualized in my mind. I'm going to go up, around, down, and in, up, around, down, and in, or that north, east, south, and west direction. Trying to increase that range of motion, trying to get that full amount through all those muscles of the rotator cuff. Last one, and you are Done. All right, roll it on over to hands and knees, however you want to get there. We're going to stack it up, shoulders on top of wrists, hips on top of knees. Spread the fingers out so you've got gloves, not mittens, and then look between your thumbs. On your inhale, gently drop the rib cage down towards the floor. On your exhale, push into the palms, arch the spine, tuck the tailbone towards the nose. Now, as you continue to flow up and down into cat-cow, let's make sure that we're not moving the spine in big chunks, which is kind of the tendency, but rather recognize that your spine is composed of lots of links, like links of a chain. We want each and every one to be doing its job, nothing underworking, nothing overworking. So if you need to slow down, go ahead, take one more, articulating the spine, feeling each and every guide do its job. With that nice flat back, take a big inhale. On your exhale, take the right hand forward and the left heel back. Now draw the belly button up a little bit for support. Then we've got these froggy swimmers. We're going to bend the elbow out to the side. We're going to bend the knee out to the side, connect right underneath the belly button in cat pose, and then push forward in that swimming direction. So elbow and knee to the side, connect underneath, and swim forward. What we're trying to do is get a range of motion through that right shoulder joint and through that left hip socket. So take one more big swimming motion. And then pause in that bird dog, that lengthened position. Drop the right hand, sweep with the left, big inhale. On your exhale, take two big windmill motions towards the front of your mat. Full range of motion with your shoulder. And then you're going to pause and you're going to reverse that windmill. Huge circles here. This last circle is going to land you in gate pose. So slide the left hand down the left leg, reach that right hand up and over and breathe into the right side body. Take an inhale. On your exhale, as you cartwheel down, we're going to take that left hand to the small of the back, reach energetically towards the mat so that that left shoulder rolls behind you and you get a bit of a pec stretch. Keep that half bind, reach the right hand one more time towards gate pose. Big inhale as you look up underneath the right armpit. Then exhale, that right hand's going to join that left hand, interlace, roll the shoulder heads back and draw the thumbs down the tailbone. Take an inhale and then exhale, slowly release. We'll take the hands to the floor. And then I will meet you on hands and knees so we can do the opposite side. With a firm belly, take the left hand forward and the right heel back. Froggy swimmers, bend the knee, bend the elbow, take it wide, bring it up underneath you, and push forward. So trying to get the biggest range of motion that you can, just loosening up the shoulder and the hip, rolling those joints around to make sure everything is smooth and under control. Last one to lengthen and pause. Drop the left, sweep up the right. Inhale. Exhale, two big circles with that right arm, keeping the shoulder blade down the back. Try not to let it creep up by the ear. And then reverse your windmill, two giant circles. I like to keep my gaze down for steadiness. And that right hand's going to slide down the right leg and find your gate pose. Big inhale into the left ribs. And then exhale, cartwheel down. That right hand is going to settle to the small of the back. We're going to energetically pull the fingernails down towards the mat, using that to rotate the rib cage up towards the sky. Big breath. Exhale, keep that half bind, reach the left hand again towards the back of the room, big stretch on the left ribs, and then the two hands will combine behind the back, roll the shoulder heads back, open up the chest, keep the belly nice and firm, and then slowly release what you have, bring the hands down, hands and knees. All right, take a moment to secure the shoulders into their sockets, meaning hugging the thumbs towards one another, feeling the shoulder heads kind of suction cup into where they belong. Once you have that, step back into plank with your feet hip distance apart. Take an inhale, and then exhale, press back into down dog. Let's emphasize weight through the thumb and index. And then as soon as you've walked out the feet, if the calves are a little grumpy, go ahead and settle into it, and we're immediately going to start doing what I call shoulder blade push-ups. So I want you to push the mat away from you so the shoulder blades go up into the ears, and then fiercely pull the shoulder blades down the back. They're going to go up into the ears, and they're going to go down the back. Kind of like you're shrugging, like you're saying, I don't know what's going on. And then notice your 100% range of motion here from the ears down to your jean pockets. And then on this next push, I only want you to push 50%. That's it. Okay, that's a nice buoyant down dog there. We're not locked out in either position. Take a big breath here. And then exhale, look forward and make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins with a long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. And then exhale, hands to heart center. All right, we got sun A's. Let's stack it up, hips on top of heels here. We do have a tendency to push the hips forward, so let's make sure we're all stacked up. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, right foot steps back, drop the right knee. We're going to inhale, rise up, super tall spine here. Keep the length of the spine as you drop those karate chops forward. Left hand's going to swing open that door. We're going to try to get the heart towards the side of the mat 3 times, rotating through the shoulder and rib cage. After this third, you're going to bring it back and pause. Now let's flip the palm and then turn on your windshield wipers, keeping the shoulder blade down the back. We've got 3 of these. Biggest range of motion you have. Everyone's going to look a little different here. After your third, you're going to bring the hands down, lift your back knee. Slide back into plank, rock the tippiest of your tippy toes before bringing it down, elbows kiss the ribs. Once the toenails are glued to the mat, remember we talked about squeezing that block so the glutes don't overwork? I want you to try that now. Lift the belly button up off the mat, turn on that inner thigh squeeze, and then lift up for your cobras, seeing if this is any different from normal. What we don't want to do is use so much glute that we end up squeezing in the low back and feeling crummy there. Okay, after your three, you're going to curl the toes. Feel free to use your knees if you need to rise back up into plank and to press back into down dog. Lengthening, think about your shoulder blades, how you're staying buoyant. You're not locked out in either position. Okay, from here, look forward, step forward, top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. And then pause here. We're going to take the right hand to the nape of the neck and the left hand to the small of the back. Take the elbows behind you, open up the chest, and then switch this position. We're going to use this in our standing poses in a minute. So just kind of familiarize yourself with the motion, how the shoulders are rolling. And this isn't necessarily about the fingertips touching one another. This is just about rolling those shoulders around in all the directions, making sure it feels comfortable. All right? All right, here we go. Second, sun A. Inhale, fingers to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, left foot steps back, drop the knee. Rise up, lengthening your spine like a slinky. Once it's nice and long, take those karate chops forward. Right hand's going to swing open like a big door. Find 3 of these, pressing through that front heel for stability. And then once you're done, bring it back and pause. Flip that right palm. Keep the shoulder blades down the back as you find these big old rainbow windshield wipers. Finding your range of motion here. Last one. After your 3, hands come down, lift your back knee, step back into plank, rock the tiptoes lower to the belly. All right, gluing your toenails to the floor, lifting the belly button off the mat. You can choose to stay here for 3 cobras. You might take the hands down by your sides, palms facing one another, or if it's comfortable, find the same bind that we did in gate pose. Remembering that inner thigh, go ahead and lift and lower. Keeping the wrinkles out of the back of the neck. That's going to help us protect the low back. We got one more. Sliding the thumbs down the tailbone, broadening through the collarbones, and then relax, hands to the rib cage. Feel free to use your knees to come up into plank and press back into down dog, checking again on those shoulders. All right, looking forward, stepping forward. I'll see you at the top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins, and exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, get tall, and exhale, hands to heart center. All right, we're ready for our sun Bs. So we're going to take those blocks, set them up at the top of the mat, shoulder distance apart. This is, of course, your time to grab a drink or switch your playlist or whatever it is you need. So with our sun Bs, they involve what's called a vinyasa. If you're not sure what that is, no worries. I'm going to walk it through step by step, and you can just stick with me and modify and find what's good for you. If you do know what it is, great, fantastic. Feel free to do it. Just make sure and stay safe because there is that tendency to round the shoulders and to dump into the low back. All right, here we go. Feet hip distance apart, top of the mat. Inhale, hands up overhead. I want you to grab a basketball and slam it down in your chair. Rise up and then slam it down. Take 2 more, just this natural range of movement, not a lot of energy being used. Okay, inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, settle down into your chair, shoulder blades down the back, pinky spinning slightly inwards. Inhale through the heels, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, your vinyasa. And I'm just going to step back into down dog, which just means skipping that vinyasa, and you can do that each and every time. Inhale, right toes up into the sky. On your exhale, step that right foot to the right pinky finger and drop your back knee. That right hand is going to take a giant windmill motion towards the back of the room and then bring it right back and tap your mat. We got 2 more like this. And then I'm going to give you the option to add on the hamstring, okay? It's just an option, so take it or leave it. That's up to you. All right, next time I take my hand back, I'm also going to straighten out my right leg and peel the footprint up off the floor. Bring it back. Now, if this doesn't feel right, or if it impedes your range of motion through your shoulder, then leave it behind and just do what we did to start with, all right? Everybody's hands come down. Lift your back knee, sweep the right foot up into the sky, inhale. Exhale, kick it right between the hands. Spin your back heel down, anchor into your heels as you rise up. As soon as you're set into Warrior 2, let's check that 5 toes are pointing forward, and the knee goes through the middle of the foot. Big inhale here. On your exhale, right hand goes across the belly button, left hand reaches for the front of your mat. You're going to switch this out, so we're staying in these big windmill shapes. And I want you to pay extra attention to the top arm, whatever arm is overhead. The tendency is going to be to take that shoulder blade kind of up into the ear. Resist that urge. Keep the shoulder blade down the back, which means spinning the arms. So my pinky is down at the top. Then I'm going to switch it, spin my arm. Pinky is down at the top. We got one more here. Big inhale, big exhale. All right, next time I come up, I'm going to inhale, straighten out that front leg, reach for the sky, and then exhale, reach forward and down for triangle pose. So the hand might rest on the shin, the ankle, or towards the pinky toe side of the foot. I'm going to resist dropping the head. I'm going to lift it up against gravity so it stays in line with the rest of my spine. And then maybe I take that top hand to the small of my back to help me broaden the chest and take that left shoulder behind me. One inhale here. And then exhale, I'm going to bend the knee, hands come down, walk to the middle of the mat. Heels in, toes out for that goddess positioning. I'm going to inhale, rise up. So similar windmills, but we're going behind the back. So the right hand goes behind the back as the left hand goes up overhead. And then we're going to switch this out. So my weight is through the heels and through the sitting bones, similar to when you were in chair pose. And I'm still monitoring that top arm to make sure that the shoulder blades are down the back. And then I'm spinning the arm bone so the pinky lands facing the floor. All right, last one right, last one left, and then let's take the hands to the ground. Walking forward, I'm going to give you an option of down dog. I'll see you there. Or solidify this left shoulder in the socket and find your side plank, lifting the hips nice and high so that you're coming up out of the shoulder joint and not sinking down into it. I'll see everyone in down dog. Lengthen it out, second side. Inhale, left toes up. Exhale, left foot to left pinky finger. Pause and drop the back knee. We're going to inhale, left hand sweeping for the back of the mat, and then exhale, bring it back, tap the mat, next round. Find your range of motion, practicing that spinning of the arm, and then you're welcome to just stay here for 3 more rounds, or I'm going to add in that hamstring. So this side's completely different. Treat it as so. If the hamstring is cranky, or if this really impedes your shoulder movement, then leave it behind for another day. We got one more. Open up. And then exhale, close it down. Lift your back knee, left toes up in the sky. Exhale, kick it through between the hands. Spin the back heel down, rise up. As soon as you've settled into the pose, we've checked that on that front knee with the middle of the foot. Let's check that the back heel is just a tiny bit further back from the toes so that knee stays safe. Big inhale. Exhale, left hand across the belly button, right hand up overhead. Then we're going to switch this. So the stability of my foundation never changes. I'm just gently massaging the spine back and forth in the hips and taking care of those shoulders, making sure the shoulder blades are down the back, and then I'm spinning my arms to accommodate that. All right, let's do one more. And then as you inhale up, straighten out that front leg, reach for the sky. Exhale, go as far forward as you can, hand resting lightly on the shin, ankle, or pinky toe side of the foot. Now feel free to micro bend that left knee, especially if you feel locked out in the joint or if you're feeling any extra intensity in the back of the leg. Maybe the top hand goes towards the small of the back. Similar to what we did when we were on hands and knees, I had you energetically pull the fingers towards the mat. Take a breath, and then exhale, bend the knee as the hands come down, and you're going to walk to the middle of your mat. Heels in, toes out, back to that goddess positioning. Bring it on down. All right, switching it up. We're going to inhale, rise up straight, arms straight, legs, connect the palms, thumbs to the back of the neck. And then as you come down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, find your goddess. Inhale up to open up the chest, but also exhale to open up the chest. 2 more rounds, making sure that we're not flaring the ribs forward as we do this, keeping the belly firm so nothing is felt in the low back. This is our last round right here. And then we'll take the hands to the floor. Walking forward, down dog is a great option. I'll see you there. Or take the time to make sure the right shoulder is good to go before finding your side plank. I'll see everyone in down dog. Lengthen it out. All right, inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop forward, top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. And exhale, grab opposite elbows. You're going to take the elbows and lean over to the right, kind of pushing the ribs out to the left, finding that side body stretch. Bring it back to center, switch it out, elbows over to the left. All right, inhale, back to center. Exhale, hands come up as you settle down into your chair. Take a big inhale through the heels. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, your vinyasa. I'm going to show you a modification this time by going plank, dropping the knees, broadening the chest as if you're in cobra, elbows to ribs, tap. Okay, so feel free to bring that in if you'd like to when you hear the word vinyasa. Inhale, right toes up into the sky. Exhale, kick it right between the hands. Now spin the back heel down, anchor into your heels as you rise up and stack the shoulders on top of the hips, making sure that we're lengthening the tailbone, drawing in the hips to the ribs so we're not hanging out in the belly and the low back. Okay, once you've settled into your foundation, take a big inhale. On your exhale, take the right hand to the nape of the neck. We practice this, and left hand to the small of the back. Inhale, open up the chest, and then exhale, switch your hands. Good. Inhale, open up the chest, and exhale, switch the hands. We're going to do that one more time. The next time that the left elbow is on top, I want you to pause, and then bring that left elbow as far forward as you can, pulling through the left side body. Then we're going to switch the hands as we rise up. Now pull that right elbow up sky high. Good. Again, switch as you come into that side angle variation, left elbow forward, and then switch the hands as that right elbow comes up, big inhale. All right, getting ready for half moon. We're going to release the arms, look forward toward your blocks, slide that back foot in, grab a block, and lift the back leg. I've anchored myself into the block, but also through this outer right hip. So squeeze and scoop up underneath you, broaden the chest, so it almost feels as if the shoulders are stacked, the hips are stacked, and then punch energetically through that back leg so that every muscle is helping to keep that leg up and not letting gravity drag it back down. All right, hands down, toes down, walk to the middle of your mat. Heels in, toes out. We're going to add on. Inhale, rise up, find your goddess. Okay, we're going to inhale up, thumbs to the back of the neck. We're going to exhale, bring it down, and then tap the elbows together to round the back. Okay, inhale up, thumbs to the back of the neck. Exhale, goddess, elbow tap. One more. Inhale up, thumbs to the back of the neck. Exhale, goddess, elbow tap. All right, hands down, walk forward. Down dog's a great option. Side plank's a great option. Or I'm going to take a wild thing here. So I'm going to first start with side plank. My right foot's going to take a baby step behind me like a kickstand, and then I'm going to open up by rolling my hips, my heart, my chest towards the sky, keeping the shoulder blade down the back. Wild thing. Bring it back, down dog to lengthen. Second side, same thing. Inhale, left toes up. Exhale, kick it between the hands. Spin the back heel down. Rise up, pressing through the foundation of your heels, stacking the shoulders on top of the hips, checking to make sure that we're not dipping in the low back. Long tailbone. Big inhale. Exhale, left hand on top, right hand on bottom. Broaden the chest, and then switch. So just getting familiar with this motion. Go ahead and switch again. Last one. Right hand is up on top. As soon as it is, go ahead and draw the right elbow forward, left ribs to left thigh bone. As you switch the arms, you're going to rise up and draw the left elbow towards the ceiling as if you're in reverse warrior. Bring it on back, right elbow forward, switch, left elbow up. Good. One more. Right elbow forward and left elbow up. Now, begin to visualize half moon. You're going to release the arms, cartwheel forward, slide your back foot in, anchor onto your block and lift. We want to try to keep 5 toes pointed forward-ish so we're not twisted in the ankle. Take this left hip and scoop it up underneath you. Eventually, as you punch through the heel and as you reach for the ceiling, you might be able to use those left obliques to help you hover up off the blocks. Take a big breath. Broadening the chest, and then hands down, toes down, walk to the middle of your mat. All right, heels in, toes out, heading on one more thing. We're going to rise up, straight arms, straight legs, tap the thumbs to the back of the neck. Come on down, goddess, tap the elbows together, and then I want you to watch my feet. I'm going to turn all 10 toes forward as I come into a forward fold, relaxing the chin to the chest, hamstrings. I'm going to immediately take all 10 toes out as I rise right up through goddess, thumbs to the back of the neck. Bring it down into goddess, elbow tap. And then straighten out the feet as I forward fold. One more, toes out. Rise up right through goddess, thumbs to the back of the neck. Bring it down, elbow tap. And then watch the feet, 10 toes in the same direction as you forward fold. Okay, walking forward, down dog, side plank, or start with side plank. Take that left foot as a little baby kickstand behind you. Roll the hips and the heart up towards the ceiling, keeping the shoulder blades down the back, and then slowly bring yourself back to down dog. Lengthen it on out, and then you're going to drop the knees, keep the toes curled up underneath you, and as I walk back for a foot stretch, I can stop at any point. The knees are going to be in line with the hips. Maybe eventually the hands walk up, and we want the heels in line with the sitting bones. So this is going to give us a really big stretch through the bottoms of the feet. If you need less, lighten up your load. If you need more, just wiggle your kneecaps forward. This is never a stretch that I feel anyone enjoys, but it's really crucial for good foot health. So hang in there for one more cycle of breath for me. All right. As you bring it on down, go ahead and wiggle out the toes, roll out the ankles. And then if you need to grab a drink or wipe your face, now's a great time. If any of the blocks got moved, you can always put them back in place. We have got one more flow. We're going to incorporate some swimming and some crescent to finish off. So if you need a break, come back into child's pose, hit the pause button, breathe, relax, and then join us whenever you're ready. Beauty of online classes. Okay, if you are ready now, then go ahead and firm up the shoulders as if you're magnetizing the thumbs towards one another. Step back into plank on the inhale, exhale, down dog, and again, stay buoyant in the shoulders so we're not locked out in either direction. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step forward, top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. And then exhale, we're going to find a bind behind the back, but this time it's a loosey-goosey bind. Relaxed here. I'm going to take the fists as far to the right as what's comfortable for me. I'm going to start to squeeze the elbows together, and then I'm going to lean the right ear to the right shoulder. So I'm going to start to feel this really nice stretch down the back of the neck. So the back from the back of the earlobe, down the back of the neck to the back where the shoulder blade is. Now you can influence this by either squeezing the elbows together more for the intensity, or you can play with that range of motion, chin to chest, nose to armpit, and you can find the very best stretch for you because everyone's going to have tension in a little slightly different area of the neck. So find what works for you and take a big breath. All right, we're going to roll the chin to the chest. We're going to sweep the thumbs through that tailbone area. And then gently over to the left, find that range of motion, squeeze the elbows together, left ear to left shoulder. So those are just your starting positions. Then you can increase that elbow squeeze, or you can play with the angles, whatever's going to feel best for you. And the sides are going to be different. Every person's going to be different. So definitely take your time investigating what feels best. And then once you've got it, take a nice big breath. All right, chin to chest, thumbs towards the tailbone. Go ahead and release that whole thing. Here we go, last round. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, have a seat down in your chair, shoulder blades down the back. Inhale to stay. Exhale to fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, your vinyasa, which could be down dog. It could be dropping the knees. Or for full chaturanga, I'm going to rock the tippy toes, broaden the chest, elbows to ribs, flip the toes up dog with a firm belly and a long neck. Flip the toes down dog, buoyant shoulders. All right. Inhale, right toes up in the sky. Exhale, kick it right between the hands and pause for me. Okay, we're going to swim. Ready? Right arm does the backstroke. Left arm does the backstroke. Right arm does the backstroke. We will land in crescent, all 10 fingers towards the sky, punching through those heels. Big inhale. All right, on your exhale, that left hand's going to release to the back of your leg. You're going to inhale up and exhale slightly back towards what I'm going to call reverse crescent. We're going to swim into warrior 3. So as that right hand comes down, that left hand comes up. Swim forward, push, lift, reach through all 10 fingers, squeeze that outer right hip. Then we're going to slow motion drop the toes. Left hand's going to do the backstroke right back to that back leg. Inhale, reach up, that reverse crescent. Again, exhale, swim forward, bend, push, lift, reach, trying to find that relatively flat-ish low back. And then slow motion, drop the toes, take that swimming motion back, inhale, rise up. All right, I want you to pause. Right hand's going to connect with the left, interlace, roll the shoulder heads back, look at your blocks. Warrior 3, bend, push, lift, driving the thumbs down the tailbone, reaching through the crown of the head, punching through the back heel. Give me an inhale. And then exhale, hands down, toes down. Now for our very last option here, down dog, side plank, wild thing, or you can take the right hand behind the head, a little bit of a different variation of wild thing. I'm going to find my side plank, step my right foot behind me, and then as I drop the weight of the head into the hand, it'll increase that stretch kind of through the right armpit area. Bring it on down, down dog, lengthen it out. Last side, last set, you've made it. Inhale, left toes up. Exhale, kick it through. Okay, we're going to swim. Keep that back heel lifted. Left hand backstroke, right hand backstroke, Left hand, bring it up, all 10 fingers to the sky. Firm belly, wrapping the core into the spine. Inhale here. Exhale, right hand's going to drop back to that back leg on the hamstring. Inhale up through the spine. Exhale back to find your reverse crescent. Now we're going to swim forward doing the front stroke. The right hand's going to lead us into that warrior 3. Slow motion, drop the back toes, punch through your heels, reverse, find that backstroke into crescent. All right. One more, bring it forward. Reach, lift, and lengthen. And then exhale, slow motion, drop, reach, and pause. Both hands behind you for the interlace. Feel free to keep the elbows bent so the palms can stay sealed. Look at your blocks. Bend, push, lift. Toes are pointed down. Broad chest here, firm belly. One inhale through the spine. And then exhale, hands to the floor. Drop the toes, down dog, maybe side plank, maybe wild thing, maybe the left hand behind the head so that as you come back, find your kickstand, shoulder blades down the back as you drop the weight of the head into the hand. All right, bring it into down dog, lengthen it out, and drop the knees. Nice work. All right, so we are going to grab that tennis ball. Mine decided to roll away. And then we're going to do a little myofascial release on the space between the shoulder blades. So you'll need a wall, you'll need a ball. I'm going to go ahead and stand up. And what I want to do is trap the ball between my shoulder blade and my spine in that little alleyway. So I'm going to take it right up over my shoulder, trap it on the wall, and then I'm just going to kind of relax through the rest of the body. I don't want to spend a ton of energy here. I don't want to use a lot of muscles. I just want to lean back and chill, right? So the ball is right here. So I'm going to take that arm and I'm going to wrap it around here almost as if I have it in a sling. That's going to move the shoulder blade and increase that alleyway so we have more surface area to work with. Once you have that shoulder blade out of the way, I'm just going to slowly take that ball up and down that alleyway, that space, and just see what's going on. Now I want to move slowly, first of all, so the body recognizes this as therapeutic and relaxing. Second of all, I don't want those muscles to contract and push the tennis ball out of the way, so I'm just moving slow. And thirdly, I want the brain to have time to recognize when there's a spot that feels different or more unique than something else. So I can tell you right now at the very top, there's a spot that's like, whoa. So once I find him, I'm going to pause. I like to close down my eyes because it just helps me to relax more. And then I want to stay on that spot that kind of spiked my sensitivity. And I want to take a few cycles of breath, melt into it, and wait until that sensitivity fades. So what I started out as like a 6 or 7, after a couple cycles of breath, everyone's going to be different. It's more of like a 2. All right, I'm ready to keep investigating. I'm going to roll up and down, see if I find anything. Sometimes it feels like you're going over bubble wrap. It's crackling. Sometimes it feels like you're going over pebbles or rocks. Sometimes it feels like a guitar string. It's just really thick and firm. So I found another spot here. I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to relax. So we want about 3-ish minutes here before we switch sides. Remember to keep that arm drawn across as if it's in a sling. Remember to relax. And then keep that yoga breath going. I know I haven't cued it for a little bit, but we want those big inhales and exhales to support the idea that our body is relaxed and that this isn't stressful pressure. This isn't anything that the body needs to go on high alert about. This is something that's actually very therapeutic and is going to help many, many things in the shoulders. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move away from the wall. And I just want to give it a little bit of attention and movement. So go ahead and find some things and notice how different it feels. For me, it feels like Tin Man just got a little bit of oil. It's kind of moving around a little bit better. Second side, again, between the spine and the shoulder blade, trap it in that alleyway. Immediately just lounge into it. And then we're going to move that arm so that we can increase that space. Okay. Up and down. And this side's a completely different experience. So you might have to push harder or not near as hard. You might have spots in completely different areas. Ooh, there's a good one. I'm going to melt on this for a second. Sensitivity could be higher, could be lower. The textures could be different. But what's important here is that you notice which shoulder is grumpier. And then you might take a second to think why that is. For me, I had not too long ago, my shoulder was pretty grumpy, and I realized that when I was at my desk, my right hand was on my mouse, and I was putting weight through my left shoulder, my left elbow, into the armrest of my chair, and just as a habit. So all the shoulder was taking weight for many hours of the day. So once I figured out, okay, my left shoulder's grumpy, and then I changed that habit, the next time I did it, it was fine. So it's kind of important to recognize those root causes to see what we can do so that grumpiness doesn't get any worse and affect anything else. You got just a few more breaths here, up and down. Again, finding a spot, relaxing into it, melting, breathing, waiting for that sensation to lower, and then going for the next spot. All right. I'm going to go ahead and release that. Okay, and then again, some movement. Maybe you want to put the two together. Just make sure that everything's feeling good. Neck rolls if you want. All right, so as we get ready for Shavasana, if you need to turn down lights, turn off music, get something to place over your eyes. If you have any props, bolsters, blankets, anything you want, go ahead, grab that now. I'm going to make sure that I've got my props out of the way, so I've got this nice bubble of space around me. And then meet me in a full body stretch, just so we have a nice big symmetrical move before Shavasana. Big inhale here. And then exhale, arms down by the sides, and then support yourself as you need, just making sure there's nothing that's going to cause a distraction. Now, this is the easiest part to skip on an online class because you've got stuff to do. I recognize that, but please stick with me. This is one of the most crucial parts of class because you are training the nervous system, which is the thing that you're going to use probably the most off the mat out of everything that we do here. So take a moment, get into your position, make sure you're comfortable, and then immediately come into your breath, knowing that your breath dictates how your body responds. Big inhales to lengthen and stretch out that torso area, and then exhale, squeeze out all the old air. As you feel that free flow of breath in and out the nose, know that it is lowering your heart rate, lowering your blood pressure, but it's also sending signals to your nervous system that you're safe and that it's okay to let go and relax. Essentially giving yourself permission to be still. Then second step, take a few cycles of breath down the body, just noticing sensations. That could be the texture of the mat against the skin. It could be the pressure of the heels against the floor. It could be the feeling of your clothes on your skin or the weight of jewelry on your wrist. This is just a little checklist here. It's the body taking inventory, making sure that you are okay head to toe, you're accounted for. That again gives that reassurance that it's okay to be still. There's no need to be on high alert. Continue to notice the breath in and out the nose, and we'll be here for just a few moments longer. This is your time to find that single point of focus that is going to anchor you against the waves of distractions that will happen. That could be counting the breath. It could be repeating a positive phrase like, I am well, I am safe. Or it might be visualizing something peaceful. Maybe imagining laying on the beach, listening to how the sound of your breath sounds very much like ocean waves. Take just a few moments here combining the evenness of the breath, the stillness of the body, and the mindfulness of the brain to find just a few moments of peace and calm. And keeping your eyes closed, take one more cycle of breath. This time, I encourage you to breathe down the body and notice how it feels so very different from the beginning of class. Notice at least one benefit, inside or out, recognizing the work that you put in. And then begin to slowly make movements, maybe fingers, toes, wrists, ankles. Gather up just enough energy for a full body stretch. Maybe this full body stretch allows you to feel out something else that is different, that is better. And then as you draw the knees into the chest, again, an opportunity to notice if something feels different. Take the time that you need to eventually roll over to the right side, using the right arm as a pillow. This is that all-important reset button that we get to hit. It's the opportunity to recognize that we leave the mat a better version than when we stepped onto it. Take an inhale to gather up what you need to accomplish that goal, and exhale anything you wish to leave behind that doesn't serve that positive purpose. As you slowly roll up to a seated position, sit up nice and tall, hands at heart center, chin towards the chest. Thank you so very much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to find movement and stillness, breath work and mindfulness, and to recognize how this little bit of time on your mat greatly benefits the time off your mat. It was my honor to lead you through class. Namaste.